Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for giving me a couple minutes to get everything sorted out this morning. So much energy to kind of process. We're in the middle of at least 3 different holidays, a full moon, and of course, the beginning of a new week here just upon us. So I'm really happy that I can be here to help facilitate it, not just for you, but also for me. Little Apollo wishing us some love as we get started here. Of course, let me just tell you where you are and what we're going to be doing. This is a weekly collective, and we're going to take a look at the next 7 days. And in addition to that, we'll be doing a special topic today that you chose. And the special topic, of course, is healing whatever needs to be healed, something that I think we can all benefit from. So I'm going to put down my furry assistant here so he can rest and we can get started. First things first, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Like I said, we're going to look at the next 7 days from Sunday to Sunday. We'll begin with some channeled messages. It was a busy night for me with respect to dreams, and it's been a really sort of interesting week that I've been experiencing here, just building up to this too. So I definitely feel that energy of a reset that's upon us. We'll look at the channel messages, the 7-day forecast, look at things that can help us, things that might hinder us. And then the only part of this particular reading that is sign specific will be the elemental breakdown. Everything else is for everybody here, just to save Dakota from having to answer that question, because I know it comes up a lot. Then we'll go into that special topic that I talked about, which is all about healing, which I think is great. You know, I've seen some comments on what's being voted on, and everyone gets angry that the homework piece, the inner work doesn't get done. You know, healing actually falls into that. So no matter which topic we choose, I always look at source and root causes. So there's always that component there. So just be patient. And then we'll always wrap up with, of course, a chance for everybody to meditate and to ask a silent question. I lit most of the candles today, but I have a few extras so we can set some intentions. And I'm going to do that at the very beginning because a lot of times once I get into the reading itself, I get distracted. So I think that one of the nice things here we can simply do is to light the first candle and ask for help with healing. For many of us, this may be releasing something, but let's just look at whatever it is in your life that needs to be healed, whether it's a broken heart, a body part, or something in your mind, something that you're trying to just kind of get past. So this is a prayer for everybody on whatever it is that they're trying to heal, and then we'll look at that when we get into the Celtic cross. Because part of the energy that's availing itself to us is to start something new. This is a rebirth energy that we're looking at this weekend, whether or not you celebrate Easter. We're still in the energy of spring or fall, which is basically that sort of transition from one season to the next. So what is it that you want to see a renewal of or a rebirth in? And let's set an intention on that as well. One more time. Set an intention for renewal or something new. Really hold that intention. We'll give this wick a chance to fully accept that, and I'm going to protect it as we go there. Interesting that blew out because a lot of times it is hard to accept something new, right? So I'll try to help you with that. Hey buddy, what's going on down there? And then let's finish up here with anything that, any opportunity that wants to come in that we may not recognize, is just kind of open our eyes. So a connection to source energy for guidance. And then also the ability to see a synchronicity when it happens and to embrace it. Okay. So now that Apollo's settled in, we can get settled in and we can talk about the channeled messages. All right, let me get my presentation set up here for you. And again, we'll begin. This is my conversation with guides and also whatever Spirit wants me to see for you, bringing that through for you right now. Okay, so part of the reason it took me a couple minutes to get going this morning is there was just so much to talk about. Of course, we're going to look at the pink full moon. If I wasn't in the middle of kind of tying up some family affairs, I would have done an impromptu yesterday. Many of you know that I lost someone in my family, so I've been busy doing so many different things to wrap that up. And a beautiful weekend, actually, energetically, for that sort of energy of release and renewal. So we'll talk a little bit about the full moon here today because we're still in that energy, and it's actually still a really good time for letting go, which is part of what I'm doing in my life. There's a particular deity that's also attached to this moon, which I'll talk about. We're going to talk about all of the renewal and rebirth energy that is availing itself to you and how you can kind of set yourself into embracing that new cycle. And then just generally speaking, cleaning, clearing. There's actually this really cool card in one of my decks that I pulled this week that inspired this, which is, I think it's like clear, clean, and cancel. Canceling the old contracts and everything. We might have actually looked at it last weekend, but I did see something in dreams that has to do with partnership with this. So let's get into these messages so we can really embrace everything. So I always like to know how these different full moons get their names. This one's really cool because I spent a good part of my childhood on the East Coast of the United States, and I saw this wildflower. So it's named after this thing called creeping phlox, but I guess it's Phlox subulata, whatever, but basically creeping phlox. And it basically makes the hillsides look like they are pink. There's also many other colors of phlox. There's purple, and I remember seeing more than just pink. In California, we get poppies, in the spring and summer, so we get the golden fields, and that's part of the reason it's called the Golden State. So the pink fields that I remember growing up, now I understand. I was like, yeah, that's right, creeping phlox. You could buy this wildflower and plant it on the side of the hill, and it was beautiful. So that's part of this. So again, beautiful springtime energy, an abundant sort of totem there because phlox grows really fast and it spreads. So when we're looking at the ability for renewal or abundance, that's a beautiful thing. Let's see. Okay, looking at the full moon, it happened already, of course. Friday is when we started seeing it looking like a full moon, and then yesterday, on Saturday, it reached its peak fullness. It was in the afternoon, at least East Coast time. And like Easter, which it preceded, it marks springtime and renewal in the Northern Hemisphere. For all my Southern Hemisphere viewers out there, like the folks in Australia, this is still a period of transition, so it really doesn't matter. Spring and fall have a very similar energy, easing from one into another, one sort of phase of our life or thing that's going on in our life to something else. This also marks an important time for Hindus, and I'd not heard of this particular spirit or this particular deity before. I hope I say the name right. It looks like Hanuman Jayanti, celebration of this monkey deity. So let's talk about this guy a little bit. When he was a kid, and this is why I highlighted the sun card, he tried to fly up and grab the sun, also solar energy and solar deity kind of energy here. The king of the gods got angry and struck him with a thunderbolt. Very interesting how a lot of the gods of the sky or the king of the gods had that thunderbolt. That's how he got the name, because it struck him on the jaw, and that's how he kind of got his name. So I would say watching what you're speaking and also kind of connecting to that fiery energy is something that is going to be something you want to look at this week. But more to come on this sort of lightning in just a bit here. First of all, let's look at this guy got into trouble, it looked like. And basically because he kept using his magic and his powers, he was cursed, or basically they bound him so he wouldn't know what he had. It was kind of like this amnesia. So I would say be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and don't be afraid to use your energy or your powers. When we're looking at children in our life, I think this is so important. We want to teach them that it's okay to make mistakes, and we shouldn't punish someone forever for one error. And when I was reading this, just this little bit of research that I did on this particular deity, I thought, as per usual with a lot of myths, a little too harsh, maybe a little bit over the top. Again, this was a kid. He was acting up. This is what kids do. So I would say, if you were kind of crazy as a young person, but you've gone through a different path right now, just embrace all the different facets of who you are and who you were. You're not defined by one action or set of actions. It's really how you decide to learn from them. And that's what we should teach children too, is that making a mistake is not as important as what you do right after that and in the months and years that come after that as well. So it's all about evolution and growth and learning. So that's what I saw with this. Have some fun and don't take yourself too seriously. And that's what I also like about the Sun card, is there's a kind of irreverence to it, just like the Fool. Remember your power, remember your strength. We have this beautiful card here from the Light Seers deck. So as this particular deity was fighting a war to get rid of a demon lord, basically he was reminded of his powers and was able to do something quicker than he thought. This is like the briefest version of this story that I could tell, because there's a lot that goes to it. But basically, when we're looking at this, we are entering a period where many of us may either find the strength that we see here in this card, or discover a skill that was beneath the surface, or that someone had told us we didn't have. So it's a reclaiming of power, a rediscovery of inner strength. And sometimes you don't know you can do it until you have to do it. You know, if there's a deadline, if there's an emergency, if someone's depending on you, all of a sudden, there's no room for error. There's no room for thinking, can I do this? You just do it. So I feel like even if you're not in that state of urgency or emergency, you can still push yourself into something new and just think to yourself, I will face this one like step at a time. I can do this. I know I can do this. And you can do it. And that's basically what I'm seeing with this particular card and this message. So looking at lightning striking, since that monkey deity had that happen to him, basically, to me, this shows not just like the tower here, which we're looking at, but a synchronicity. Synchronicities are events or opportunities that open up precisely when we need them. Whether or not we decide to embrace them and go through them is up to us. Sometimes they feel like the tower, because it could be, let's imagine the, kind of like stereotypical version of this that you would see on a movie or TV, which is you go to Las Vegas, you pull a slot machine, and you win the jackpot. So all of that money all at once creates a tower moment. You went from maybe a lack of having to an overabundance, and then you have to decide what to do with it. It can also be love coming into your life. It can be a new job that requires you to move. There can be positive changes that have this sort of ricochet effect. And that's why we see the lightning bolt here in the Tower card. It's saying change is coming. I just read for Libra, and that was actually part of their main message was, it's not a matter of if with respect to change. It's just when and how you decide to kind of embrace the change. So a little bit of that is coming through for the collective right now too, because we're all more similar than different. That's one of the things that I've discovered as I do readings. I see a common thread because I have to do all 12 plus the weekends. So I see this sort of similar thread coming through. So the main piece that I'm going to kind of relay to the collective today is that you have the power to create change. Don't sit on the sidelines waiting for something to come through, because I really believe that you can make this happen faster if you want to, okay? So in dreams, I was shown something very interesting. Sometimes my guides, they showed me like I was doing today's reading and I was looking at the Celtic cross and I was trying to remember everything when I woke up. I have a pretty good memory when it comes to that, but they only wanted me to kind of remember 3 pivotal cards. And it was the 3 of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Swords reversed. And I got up and I typed it into my phone so I could keep that sort of mental picture. As you see with the upright version of 4 of Swords, it is about rest and it's relaxation. And it is also one of the several cards that can show death or change. There's a sort of subtlety to this. There's a fading energy with this. There's something that kind of goes on beneath the surface. So for some of you, because I saw that reversed, it's almost as if the universe is saying, I know there's a lot to deal with. I know that a lot's going to happen, but look at what I've got for you. 3 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles, your dreams manifesting, recognition that might be overdue, the ability to reach more people, all positive. So what you're going to have to try to do is to grab a nap wherever you can, just like a doctor would or a nurse would if they're working a lot of shifts, and do your best when necessary to ask or advocate for that time. So what I wrote here in the second paragraph is massive work is underway both internally and then also externally in the forms of opportunity. And what you can do to kind of make up for the fact that that 4 of Swords was reversed is to delegate, prioritize, and ask for help. Again, this is going to help you be more productive, but you have to have that self-care. And again, it's so much easier said than done, right? Convergence is underway right now, as I said, and I'm only naming the 3 that came to mind. We just are going through Easter, Passover, and Ramadan, to name a few. We also have the full moon, which is just wrapping up. And the number one card that I can pull, and it feels like I've been seeing this nonstop for the past month or so, is Judgment. Judgment is a chance to rise from the ashes. It's a chance to see something differently. Sometimes all we have to do is to change our mental perspective, just like I have to put on glasses to see some things. We have to kind of put on a different lens of receptivity and also like just what we're looking at. Think about it differently. That lens can help us see things that we wouldn't normally see. So rest, reflect, release, and then allow for this rebirth or this reimagining to happen, because that's really what this big convergence is. The way that I look at organized religion is that they are all different sets of glasses. There is no right or wrong. I wish we would all stop fighting about it. Whatever you celebrate, that's good for you. The more we can look at the similarities across all of them, the closer we can get to the universal truth, because it's just like language. We're speaking with different dialects, but saying the same thing. And religion is basically the same thing. We're looking at God and the universe through a different lens and celebrating it and evaluating it with different criteria. So let's not focus so much on which lens we use, but again, the fact that, hey, we are empowered, we are connected to the divine. And each one of these languages, each one of these religions carries with it some teachings that we probably could all value and celebrate. So that's my little 2 cents worth on that. Make room for growth. I chose an unconventional card here, the Seven of Cups, because I want you to imagine that we're expanding the mind. I use the metaphor here of a plant that gets root bound, which is basically there's no more room for the roots to grow. So the plant stops growing. It may even wither and die. And so the remedy, of course, is to put it into a bigger pot or to plant it in the ground so that it can truly take root and grow. Our minds, we only use a very small percentage of them. And plus, we also can tap into the universal energy above us. They have the capacity to continue to grow. We can learn skills throughout our life. And I think that your area, the sort of pot that we're talking about here, that block is actually just thinking like this is all there is, or putting yourself into a box. So open your mind right now. Make room for growth. Make room to be surprised. You can, when you're manifesting, you can say, this is all I've seen, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's all there is. Show me, universe, where there might be new opportunity. I'm open to see it. If you're not open to see it, you're not going to see it. Okay? And finally, and I guess in a really fun way for some of you that are looking for partnerships, I have some potential good news here, but I always have a little bit of homework with some of these. And again, there's a combination of the two here. So I was shown the arrival of a partnership. The partnership, the energy of it wasn't clear to me. It could be a friend. It could be a coworker. It could also be love. But the main thing that I saw was that this person had done work on themselves. So Spirit often shows me architectural symbols to show like your soul's work. So if I see someone in a house and I see clutter in it, I know they've got some things to clear up. I was shown this partner and their house was clean. Not only was it clean, but they had done like renovations. There was fresh paint. There was room. And there was a little bit of them being curious about why your space wasn't clean. So one thing that you can do to bring in this 10 of Pentacles partnership that I was seeing is to clean your energetic house. So of course that includes and extends to your physical house, but this is also clearing your heart, clearing your intentions, expanding your viewpoint, being as open and as clear in what it is that you're trying to create in your life as humanly possible. All that clarity is an attractive force for this other energy that has done the work. So partnership awaits, but it's awaiting your finishing of your own sort of work. So the sooner you do that, the sooner this comes in. And again, anybody that gets upset that people don't choose the inner work option, I'm not surprised, because it's not fun to do it. But guess what? All my readings are going to contain elements of that. And so I see love, but love requires that you clean your energy, your house, your thoughts, and your intentions. The sooner you do that, the sooner that person comes in. Okay, and they look pretty good to me because everything was clear and clean, and who could ask for anything better than that, I think. All right, so quite a bit to kind of like look at today, but not a surprise again, and I'm happy that I can be here on this convergence of different holidays, and we'll kind of travel through this together. All right, so what we're going to look now at is the 7-day forecast. I'm going to use the Afro Goddess deck because this hasn't been used in at least a month. And so I'm going to use that for the 7-day. And as I go throughout the reading, I'll just periodically look at some of the other decks here and choose what comes to me. Okay, so let me just set the camera up, and then we're going to take a look at what's coming through for the next 7 days. Again, this is for everybody here, okay? And if you missed Apollo, don't worry, he'll pop through again. And you can always rewind this. Remember that this is available on replay. He's behind me. He wants a little privacy. You can see him. All right, let's focus on the messages, folks. All right, let's look at today. Great energy for today. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know why this deck doesn't get selected more by the collective. It is a good deck. And next weekend. Okay, we got 2 for next Sunday. All right, so let's take a look at everything that's coming through. We'll start with today, 4 of Wands. So first of all, this is all of us here. I'm glad you guys could be a part of today. And so this represents the collective here, but it also represents what I was just talking about on that final slide, which is there is a partnership opportunity awaiting. The 4 of Wands can be platonic friendship. It can be love and marriage. It can be best friends. It's everything you kind of want in a partnership because you truly can kind of lean on that person. All right. The typical 4 of Wands would be an empty stage. And this one actually is showing the people already present. I'm pretty sure it's empty in the traditional deck. I'm going to look at it to make sure. So what we're seeing here with this artist's interpretation is that what you're looking for, like I said, it's right there. It's right around the corner. And it really just kind of relies on your ability to see and do the inner work. So let's take a look here and see if I can find the original one. What I would say with this is there are a couple things that could cause the reversal. No, there actually is 2 people in the original one. It's been a while since I looked at it. I always like to remind myself. So here's the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. We see the couple there. They're just in the background. And this one actually shows the partnership right there in the foreground. So it's actually kind of like a zoomed in version of this, right? So the reversal of this card can be 2 things. First of all, don't give up. Sometimes we think because I can't see it, it doesn't exist. That's not true. You can't always see everything that's happening. So as I said, the clearing and the cleaning that you do will create the space so this person can enter your life more quickly. This is just a momentary pause. This card reversed is still this card, and there's really no negative energy around this, other than you could be facing 1 or 2 things here. First is the feeling like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this opportunity. I'm not ready for a partnership. I'm not ready for love. I'm not deserving. Or, again, the impatience, it's not going to happen. Any one of those 3 can further delay this. So all you have to do is think, when I've done the internal work to attract the highest partnership, I'm ready for that partnership. Give me a sign and a symbol that synchronicity is in front of me so I can recognize it. That's what you need to do. And then release it. Just actually on Friday night into Saturday, my mother who passed did come and visit me and spoke. Actually, I'm clairaudient, but it takes a lot of work for anyone that does mediumship. You know, that you don't just kind of like tune into it immediately. So I was able to hear her voice and hear a little bit of what happened. And then again, because it's hard to maintain the connection, it faded away. But for me, that confirmed something that I knew, which was her energy was around me. I could feel it. And so finally she got to the point where she was learning how to use her skills, and I'm still learning how to use my skills. But had I kind of like just thought, oh, she's gone and that's it, then I would be closed to the energy and the communication. So open yourself up. Sometimes it opens you to spirit communication. Sometimes it can open you up to seeing someone or something before it happens, a job opportunity, something that you need to see but don't want to see. I've had that happen where like someone was talking about me behind my back or trying to do something, and spirit showed me what was going on. So it can be blessings, it can be warnings, it can be confirmations like I kind of went through. And so whatever it is, just hold the faith and hold the vision, and then be ready and present when that opportunity awaits. I just took a leap of faith when I felt the energy, because I am a sensitive, like highly sensitive person. So I can feel a change in the energy in a room, and I recognize the sort of quality of it as her. And I said, how you doing? What's going on? And she started talking to me. So that's, if you ever want to know how to talk to spirits, that's it. Just sit there, listen. And it was a clairaudience, by the way, is something between hearing and it's in your head. So it was, I could hear it, but then I could also hear it in here. So it was somewhere in between the ear and your head, kind of like when you're thinking a thought. So play around with it. It's a good skill, but it takes a long time to develop, and it takes a lot of energy. It's something that I'm continuing to try to develop myself, but mediumship is difficult. So anyway, you don't always need to see it to know it. You can feel it and you can trust it. So go into your heart space, okay? Let's look at Monday. This is setting you, okay, by the way, one last thing to look at because I got distracted. So for today, if you're watching today, or even if you're watching it tomorrow, because for those of you, like I said, in different parts of the world, it may be tomorrow, you still have the energy of being able to partner up or be on the same page with somebody. So hold some space for them and check in a little bit. When this card is reversed, you need to know where someone's coming from first to be able to kind of meet them on the same level. So a little bit of alignment issues going on here and tuning in, which is what I was talking about. But by and large, this is a great day to have lunch with someone, have a phone call with someone, write a letter to somebody. Also to try to do something that would, again, when we're talking about calling in the partnership, do the cleaning work internally and externally so that everything is set up. So we got a nice confirmation that people are ready and willing to kind of like meet you where you're at. All right, looking here at Monday, we have the Seven of Swords. Let's break this one down a bit. The Seven of Swords is a tricky card to come through, but it's good that it's kind of come through at the beginning of the week because you will know what's in front of you. So Seven of Swords is a reminder that, first of all, we have to be honest with ourselves, because talking about the inner work, sometimes the Seven of Swords can indicate the little half truth or white lie that we tell ourselves. Oh, I'll deal with that later. Or I don't have a problem with this. Or maybe if I ignore this, it's not going to happen. Don't listen to that denial. Focus instead on, all right, I don't want to deal with this. It's not fun. I'd rather just sit down and relax, but I better get some work done here. And to be honest, I'm not ready for this or this. What can I do to get ready? Get to the bottom of it and find out why there might be something like procrastination, denial, or maybe just a lack of incentive or inspiration. There could also be someone in your life that's showing up their, let's start that again. They're showing their true colors. So this might be, even if they tried to hide it, you've either gotten an intuition or you've just seen it in action somehow. So somebody said they were going to do something and they just fell short of it, or they're pretending to be your friend, but word got back from someone else that they said or did something to the contrary. Seven of Swords is that sort of lie or deceit or lack of accountability, which is I guess if you want to say the best version of it. Someone just isn't accountable, they're not honest. So when that happens, we have to acknowledge and we have to figure out how to basically neutralize that. So you would want to approach someone that's doing that and say, hey, I heard what you said. If you have something to say, talk to me. What's going on? Hopefully it makes them feel uncomfortable. But you can also say something like this, which is, it's very much unlike you. So why did that happen? And why didn't you come to me in the first place? Did I make it difficult? Or is this just something you need to work on? Put it out there. Be strong. Make them a little bit uncomfortable, but also give them some space to, we don't want to kind of throw the lightning bolt like that God had at his jaw or whatever. Basically, you can say, I don't like this, but I want to hear your side of the story. What's going on? That gives them some room to at least explain. And that's the best way you can handle the Seven of Swords, is to show them that you know, hold them to be accountable. And then if you can't trust them, to release them. So if someone's lied one too many times or has just fallen short of expectation one too many times, the other thing that you can do with the Seven of Swords is basically like in a job, you could just let somebody go and say, I'm so sorry. This has happened multiple times. I need to be able to depend on you and I can't. Or you demote them. Or in a real life, like a friendship or something, you could just say, I don't trust you and I need space. and walk away from that, because you can't really win with 5 and 7 of swords. All you can try to do is rise above and detach from some of those situations. Okay? And that's my advice on Monday. Avoid contracts, avoid prolonging sort of conversation about something that's not working, and avoid doing something unless you're truly ready for it yourself, okay? All of these things are going to be important to just being able to succeed in the energy on Monday. But you might actually get a revelation or an understanding, and that's a blessing, okay? Take it easy, focus on your own stuff. I think that's going to also bode well if you're not seeing any external stuff, and really just be honest with yourself. And even if you don't want to do something, but you said you were going to do it, follow through on that contract or promise. All right. Navigating now from Monday to Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesday look fantastic, by the way. So we have the Wheel of Fortune on Tuesday and the World. So whatever was bothering you or didn't seem like it was going to resolve itself totally gets resolved over the next couple of days. Then we have some other changes. So focusing on Tuesday, Wheel of Fortune, good day to talk money, specifics, good day to deal with money. Let's see, taxes in the United States are on they're on Monday. So everything should be wrapped up by Tuesday. But in other parts of the world, this is really saying, let's get to the bottom of anything financial, anything practical. It's a reset in cycles, because the Wheel of Fortune is just like the world. And by the way, as we see, they're right next to each other here. So they both indicate cyclical resets, cycle resets. So for some of you, you may decide, I've had enough of this, or I'm ready to finish this, or I'm ready to invest in this particular idea or thing. The key here is we see like one energy on top that's sitting and is happy, and one like Atlas that's holding it up on the bottom. The big challenge for some of you, just like that old show on television, Wheel of Fortune, you gotta spin the wheel. You have to get that sort of the momentum started. Once the momentum begins, then it kind of is self-perpetuating, right? So I feel like motivating yourself. Even this morning, I woke up so many times last night that I was kind of tired, and there comes a point where I just thought, get up, get out of bed. The minute I put my feet on the floor and Apollo's ready for his walk and everything, I'm good. I just have to get out of bed. So some of you, it might be that simple. Just put your foot on the floor, put your fingers on the keypad or the typewriter in front of you, and get things going, right? Keyboard, I don't know why I couldn't pick the word. Put your fingers on the keyboard, start typing. Whatever it is you need to do, get the momentum started. It is a good day for money talks, though, and for initiating anything major. By Wednesday, either something is done or something is beginning, or for many of you, this could be a really exciting and positive change. I like what we see here leading up to the Tower. Wheel of Fortune and World preceding the Tower, that actually is really positive energy, okay? So get outside, talk to other people. This is like the antithesis of the Hermit card. I believe also in Libra, I was talking about a supernova, which would be expanding and, the end of one thing, the beginning of something new. So this is like a supernova kind of card where it's time to reach out as far as you can, let go of everything and begin anew. In business, this would be an international or a global card. So reaching beyond your boundaries, talking to a larger audience. For anybody that wants to sell something, this is distribution, dissemination, the spreading of news and information. For everybody else, just average, everyday folks, this is also about getting out into the world and thinking, how am I connecting? How am I making a difference? So this is a very external day, a great day to deal with people and larger sort of issues, okay? And travel for sure. Travel is good on these 2 days, on Tuesday and Wednesday. Looking at Thursday, no surprise. Usually what I see in the channeled messages somehow shakes down in the cards. And we did get the Tower here. But I felt like the Tower was going to be good when we were talking about it earlier. And it definitely seems like that's the case. But it's change, and change takes time. And if we look at the story across the week, you have good support here. Some of you are maybe not trusting what's coming through, but it happens anyway. So if you can trust yourself and trust the advice of someone that you love and care about, then it brings you into this sort of good energy that we see coming through even. We got the 7 of Cups here. Two of the cards that I saw kind of came through here, but I see I would say an unavoidable, let's put it this way, an unavoidable change that's underway. And if you're ready and if you embrace it, you can really get ahead of it and do something amazing with it on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday is a day for revision, renewal, reimagining things, and going with the flow as the changes come out. The last thing that you want to do in a tower situation is panic. Particularly if you looked at like this is a real life scenario where, you know, there's like an earthquake or a fire or something. You want to keep your mind in the right place so that you can figure out, how do I deal with this? How can I protect myself? I see this tower as neither of those two things. It looks like it's going to be changes that are happening, changes that happen rapidly. And because of that, you have to roll with the punches. With the tower, you always have the opportunity to think of it kind of like a potter would when they throw the clay on that wheel. Sometimes as they're sort of spinning and shaping it, they don't like it. They can get some water and they can push it back down and mold it again. That's the most powerful image that I could kind of give you for tower. Positive tower energy is you are the potter. You're creating the pot. Your hands are kind of molding the tower energy. So let's kind of sum Thursday up as malleable, flexible, movable. Very hard to make something stick, but very good at trying to kind of explore all the options and the opportunities. And you may have to do something a few times for it to be to your satisfaction. Be patient with yourself. The dust eventually settles with the Tower card. Just like Judgment, you eventually come above a situation. So just let the dust settle. Try not to make any major decisions that day. Try to explore, try to expand. We see more of that coming through when we look at the Seven of Cups coming on Sunday, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is what we see here with Thursday and Friday. This is waiting for the dust to settle. And you will see something as you allow yourself to kind of sit. So this is a day of getting real. Got a lot of work to do on Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, then we have the reset. We have that big shift happening. Take care of yourself. This might be the only day where you can insert some of that Four of Swords energy that I was talking about from the channeled messages. So pause, review, reflect, continue to revise, and then say, you know what, we'll pick it up on Monday. Or if you work through the weekend like I do, you can pick it up on the weekend. And let's take a look at what's coming through for the weekend. This is really a pause and integration day. Don't have to do much on that day. The Hanged Man exists for a reason, and sometimes you just have to wait it out. So move through the change and let the dust settle. As we take a look at next Saturday, we have the Moon card in reverse. So what I like about this illustration for the moon is it's like the parting of the sea. Something that eluded you, something that was difficult, something that seemed insurmountable suddenly becomes much easier to overcome, particularly if it's emotionally sort of like heavy or difficult for you. So realize that change, movement, grief, emotions in general, they're like the tides. They come in and they come out. So with the moon reversed, I see a weaker energy. So it's very strong today. Emotions are amplified. Give it 6 days, and you're going to be in a much better place to make up your mind and to see something. This particular moon card is powerful because it shows the bottom of the sea. The thing that eluded it, the thing that we couldn't see is right there now. So I feel like you're going to get to the bottom of things. Get to the bottom of what we saw for some of you happening tomorrow on Monday. Everything is clear. The fear is gone. The anxiety is gone. Some of you might have gotten the clarity that you desired. You've gotten to the bottom of something. So what a beautiful energy for next Saturday. Just continue to trust and look in those spaces, even if they're uncomfortable, even if they require change, even if you can't do everything that you want to do in the time that you want to do. Because these 3 cards are actually helping you get to the bottom of something. And they're a continuation of the positive energies that we saw here. You have to have balance in tarot. That's why I like the cards. They're not all sparkly and unicorns. We have to look at the what it's asking us to look at. So introspective day, but very revealing. And I believe at the end of all of it, you're going to feel like I can get through this, whatever this might be. Okay. All right. Now, as we take a look at next Sunday, a week from today, you have 2 power cards, literally the Emperor, which is power, and then the Seven of Cups. I highlighted the Seven of Cups in my beginning presentation that I did, and I chose it, and it was kind of unconventional. Let me just look at what I wrote with that one more time, and we'll talk about it. But when the card is reversed, while I'm getting that prepared, the cool thing about the reversed Seven of Cups is it's reminding you to Explore the options and then eventually land on the one that feels best to you. You and you alone can be the one that can kind of decide that. So here we go. What I was talking about in the sort of channel messages was making room for that internal growth. This is where I was saying clear your mind. Sometimes we have to clear our mind so we can see everything in front of us. So the reversal of this is saying, I'm going to let these other things go. They're interesting, but they're kind of distracting me from the bigger purpose. So Seven of Cups in reverse is actually a little bit stronger than the traditional Seven of Cups because it's saying, I've given myself time to look at these, and now I know. Now I know which one calls to me the most. And there's really nothing bad in the Seven of Cups. They're just options. They're just doorways. So decide which doorway you want to take. And then make a plan. I like that this particular Emperor card is holding kind of, it almost looks like the sun, and I can see like orbs or planets going around it, or it's a crystal ball. But basically, he says, I have done the work of the Two of Wands. I've seen it manifest in the Three of Wands. I've made my mind up from the Seven of Cups. I figured it out. I know where I'm at. This is what I'm going to do. People look for that decisive energy in our everyday life. They want to look at you and know that you know. Even if you don't, think of like when you were a little kid looking at your parents. You just needed them to reassure you, right? It's going to be okay. Yes, I know how to do this, or we'll figure this out. And you don't need them there to do this. You can do this. You don't need your partner there to do it. You don't need your boss there to do it. This card is also saying, like, if you're a king or a queen, you have to kind of make this decision on your own. So make the decision, own the decision, and go forward from that. All right? Because you'll figure it out along the way. You can also just think to yourself, this feels the best to me. I'm going to move forward with it. And if I have to make changes or adjustments, I'll be ready for those changes or adjustments. Okay? Beautiful week ahead, I have to say. A couple of interesting cards. I think the most challenging days for you are going to be Monday and Thursday. Everything else looks very manageable to me. Be honest with yourself. Expect that same honesty from others, and just being able to roll with the changes. All of those things, I think, are going to kind of set the tone for the rest of the week. So as long as you can do that, I think you'll be in a good space. All right, we'll keep these cards here. I'm just going to put them up to the top for reference. And then we're going to look at some different things here. So just a reminder of where I'm at and what I'm going to do next. Here we go. So we just went through the 7-day forecast. We're going to take a look now at blessings and blocks. And just like they sound, blessings and blocks allow us to take advantage of opportunities and to avoid any sort of pitfalls that might come our way. All right, so let me see here. I think I got everything set up here. So we'll use a different deck for blessings and blocks. Let me see which one is calling to me. Maybe one that I haven't used in a while. I'm just going to use this one here because it's close. Okay, so we're going to take a look now at the blessings and the blocks. Let me turn the camera overhead so we can see this and see what the universe wants to show us here for the blessing and the block. All right, so let's talk about these two. All right, we'll begin with your blessing card. We have the High Priestess coming through. What better card than this? You have the ability to see, to do, and to create. Interesting that she's a genie in a bottle, because I look at that as a limited sort of like expression of the High Priestess, because a genie is bound to the bottle and to the desires of others. So let's take that apart for a second. And I would say your blessing for many of you is that you're not maybe beholden to someone else. And the illusion is that the power is held by someone else. So let's imagine that this is an emancipated genie, that she's out of her bottle or that someone set her free. Then she just is the High Priestess. Now she can use the energy to make decisions for herself. So it feels like there may be a little bit of an emancipation or freedom that's happening. Interesting, because when I was talking about that monkey deity earlier today, its powers were taken away, or it forgot about its power. So there is this under the surface latent energy with respect to power. So trust in it. Trust in what you're seeing, and realize that when the manifestation happens, that it wasn't accidental, that it's not a fluke, that you are the High Priestess, okay? So what you see and what you believe is starting to manifest. So hope, faith, trust, all of these things will manifest more of the same. And you're going to start to see positive movements in those areas. But if you start to doubt it, if you start to fear it, then it becomes almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay? Set intentions, plant new seeds, let go of old stuff, and see what the universe wants to show to you. Let's look at your block. For some of you, it's just the fact that maybe you're impatient or things are taking longer than you want. There may also be sort of like a lukewarm reception. Temperance is a good card, and it shows connection to spirit. Sometimes with it, though, we're not seeing enough movement or enough action. Is more always more? That's sort of the question that my guides want me to convey to you. Or is what you have precisely what you need and precisely enough to get to the next phase? So only you can answer that question, but why do you want more? Why do you need more? What is more existentially? Be patient with yourself. Impatience can bring you out of this power and this intuition that we see here. Okay? So blessings and blocks, 2 great cards overall. Again, internal guidance, and then the universe saying, be patient. It's coming. Whatever it is that you're seeking, whatever it is that you're trying to create, it's already underway. So we just looked at blessings and blocks. We're going to take a look now at, I think, what many of you love, the elemental breakdown. This is going to be fire, earth, air, and water. So let me decide which deck I want to use for this, and then we'll take a look. We use the Wild Unknown. All right, so let's go ahead and pull all the different elements first, and then we'll break them down one by one. Fire, earth, air, water, and there's one that's stuck to this, so water gets a couple. All right, so let's take it one by one. We're going to begin with all my fire signs out there. So for fire, we have the Hanged Man in reverse, and the Hanged Man was associated with Friday in the weekly forecast. So the wait is going to be over in the long run for fire signs, but there is impatience that we talked about earlier that happens with the Hanged Man. I always like to review the mythology because I don't like to assume that anybody remembers it, but the Hanged Man card is inspired by Odin, who hung from the tree of knowledge, tree of life, I can't remember, but basically to gain the knowledge and understanding of the runes, which were magical symbols that held the key to the universe. He had to sacrifice time and energy and blood to basically make this happen. He had to wait to get what he needed. So sometimes in the pause and in the waiting, we're waiting for a reason. It could simply be the inner understanding and acknowledgement that I'm ready, or I'm okay with or without this. There has to be this inner sort of acceptance that happens. So some of us, there's a delay because there may be this internal feeling of I'm not enough, or I can't have this, or it's never going to happen. For some of us, we want it too badly, or we want it to happen too quickly. So what the universe is trying to do for my fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, is just slow you down ever so slightly and have you take a look. Look to the right, look to the left, look up and down. See where you're at, be present, and evaluate. Do I like where I'm at? Do I want or need what the next step is going to be in my life? Or do I want to make a change? You have a chance to make a change. You have a little bit of a delay here, but you have a chance because the universe is opening up a lot of other doorways for you. You may seem or feel like you're in this sort of plateau, but in fact, the universe just wants to slow you down long enough so that it can show you some things. That's all. That's all this is. It feels like it's like impatience or a block, but it's not. There's a bunch of hidden doors that are going to start to avail themselves. So have faith, work hard, be strong, and look around. Look up, look down, look in all directions, and see what's there. That's my message for fire. Because I see blessings incoming, especially when we collectively remember the 3 cards that I got. It was the 3 of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Swords reversed. When the change happens, when the opportunity avails itself to you, it's going to happen in an instant. So you want to be ready. Do the preparation work. Okay. Let's move from fire and take a look at the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. For you, it's very much about decisions. We have justice. Justice is upright. Interesting here that we have the black and white cap, because it's not always black and white. It might be a shade of gray. With the justice card, what I just talked about with the hanged man also carries through. You and you alone have to make some of the decisions that are in front of you, and you alone also have to believe in yourself. Because if you doubt your capabilities or your deserving nature for anything that's in front of you, that seed of doubt grows and it starts to spread to other people. So what I'd love for you to do in the week ahead, earth signs, is decide, how do I feel? How do you feel about what's going on? What do you want next? And if something is out of balance, the scales of justice demand that balance to find a way to you. So this could be speaking up for yourself, speaking up for someone else, taking a stand, walking away, because the justice can indicate a yes or a no. But it is saying, make a decision. And once you do that, that opening that we've been talking about so much today starts to happen for you, okay? So find your balance, make a decision, and then embrace whatever new things want to come through, okay? All right. I actually really love justice too, because it is showing for some of you, you might actually be happy and able to see justice served. So remember this, one little gift that I can give you is that the scales of cosmic justice happen in a much slower or quicker kind of time scale than we think. So sometimes we're afraid that it'll never happen and it happens immediately, like instant karma. Someone makes fun of you and then they spill coffee all over themselves. Sometimes it seems like someone's getting away with something, but then when the cosmic justice happens, it's much more severe than anything would have been if if it was a legal proceeding or if you had a chance to enact it. Trust in the scales of justice and in the timing of justice. It happens exactly when it needs to happen. All right, let's move on to we'll move on to air signs next. So we're going to now take a look at Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Your message is to keep an open mind and also to really express yourself, not necessarily just in words, but also in actions. So walk the walk. You're very good at talking the talk because that's one of the skills of air signs, right? So what I'd love for you to do now is to use the same motivation, use the same sort of like ability to sort of plan everything out and now take action on it the same way you would motivate someone else or hold them to do it. Make time this week to check items off the list. Not just I want to do this. On Monday, I'm going to do this. On Tuesday, I'm going to do this. Hold yourself accountable. So that Seven of Swords energy that was coming up, this is saying, you know what? I've been putting this off. I'm going to do it. And the minute you decide to do it, it feels great. It's done. We're looking there at Tuesday. And then you can move on to something completely different on Wednesday. So for air signs, I see a little bit of a push. And then, oh my goodness, more ideas are coming through. Because we have a page or a daughter card here, you're also put in the position of filtering and being that mediator or in-between person. It's something you're pretty good at. It very much suits air. But there is something that's interesting here. It's not the Page of Swords, it's the Page of Wands. So you're being asked or you're being given the opportunity to analyze or put your own stamp on something. It's not simply about this person said this, here's, like that you're just an echo or a facsimile of a message and you're giving it. What true mediums do is interpret too, because you're given symbols. So you are a medium, you're being given information and you're being asked to process it and then also maybe put your own stamp on this so that it makes sense. Otherwise, you're just repeating, you're just an echo. So I feel like you have a chance to analyze and enhance a message and also take some information and maybe bring it to a higher perspective. So there's some internal work that can be done. And for those of you that are working, you have a chance to show your sort of like engineering or imagination side. And that's really exciting. All right, let's take a look now at our water signs. The cards stuck together, so I'm going to honor that. So the first card that we got is the Two of Wands. being able to see, believe, perfect, and clarify things a little bit. That's what we're really seeing here for you. So traditionally, the Two of Wands is a person holding the globe as well, or a crystal ball. So that faith that we've been talking about so much today, this is part of that. Seeing something and also seeing what's going on around it, seeing all the potential. So see the potential, hold that image in your mind, and continue to use that as a compass, as a guidepost for you. And then let's see here. So the Seven of Pentacles here. And this Seven of Pentacles is interesting because it's not as indicative of what the normal energy is on this one. So Seven of Pentacles usually shows a little bit of impatience, someone waiting for something to be done. It also shows the ability to rebound and to grow. And that's something that we've been talking about today. So recovery, repair, and basically any sort of rebound takes time in your life. Here's the traditional Seven of Pentacles. We see someone here looking at all of the growth, but probably comparing that to like the Nine of Pentacles. There's someone over there that's sitting, free and happy and feeling like they're on their own. A little bit of work to be done, but guess what? You have the knowledge to make this happen. Keep the vision strong, keep the work happening, and you will see a return on that energy, okay? So don't give up. And remember that with the Seven of Pentacles, there's always a little test that comes through. Usually it could just be an emotional thing, which is, have I really learned this? What will happen if there's a repeat? Am I going to be okay? Sometimes it's just that kind of stuff. But there may be a temptation or an opportunity that tries to have you stretch your resources, your time, your energy too thin. Or even if it's your body and you're an athlete, you may have this sort of temptation to jump straight back into everything that you used to do before you've had a chance to repair and rebuild. So don't rush, okay? All right. So we're going to go into the viewer's choice, but before we do that, just a couple of quick notes. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here so far and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The big benefit that you get is being able to chat in live readings. Doesn't cost anything. It also helps the channel grow. So please, if you've been a long-time viewer, hit subscribe and you haven't already subscribed. You can, once per reading, like it. So please, if you haven't liked it already, do that. And you can always follow me on social media for reminders of upcoming readings. And I already see some super chat and super stickers as I'm looking at the monitor here. So thank you so much to everybody that's given back. Dakota will thank you while I'm doing it, and I'll say thank you at the very end. That's all I wanted to say with that. You can also see my schedule here. All right, so we just went through the elemental forecast. Let's do a fun part now, which is the viewers and readers' choice. And I'm going to take a quick scan of the cards on the table, and I'm going to give you a chance to basically vote on your top choices. So give me a second to evaluate everything here, and then I'll put a poll out for everybody to consider. So let's see. All right, let me get my glasses on too and see what's going on here. All right, so as I look at the 7 days in front of us, I want to kind of take a look and understand what the Seven of Swords energy is. So let's look at the Seven of Swords, and we'll make the focus on like accountability, but we'll see what else is coming through. So Seven of Swords, clarification on that one. Change is such an important part of everything going on that we'll definitely look at change. What do you need to know? What do you need to know? All right. I'd also like to take a look at overcoming. It's hard to see because it's on the side here, but we have the Moon card here. So I'm going to say like emotional breakthrough. And it could also be release. Something big going on with emotions overall. And I think that's enough for you to vote on. So this is the viewer's choice. Feel free to vote on any of those options. While you're doing that, as a reader, what I'd like to look at is trusting yourself, because we have the High Priestess here, and I was talking about like the genie in the bottle energy. So let's take a look at how we can overcome that and help you trust yourself. I feel like we can clear the cards now because there's too many in front of me. So give me a second to clear the cards, and we'll vote on this, or we'll take a look at this viewer's choice or this reader's choice. All right, that's a little bit better. All right, so let's take a look again at the High Priestess, how to trust, how to know, how to understand what's going on here. Eight of Pentacles, beautiful Eight of Pentacles. Let's take a closer look at this card. So the card was reversed, but it's still very powerful. So we have a beaver dam here, it looks like. We can see the little beaver here. And the Eight of Pentacles for me typically shows a return on the work done. Now, I was looking at the High Priestess and sort of like why she isn't trusting herself. So intuition works in an interesting way because yes, we can have all the book smarts that we need. You can read 15 different books on how to channel, how to read, what's going on, etc. But at the end of the day, it's more about how you apply this and how your connection to spirit is unique. So what I see with the Eight of Pentacles could be too much listening and reading on methods for something to be done. Everybody's intuition takes on a different accent. You know, we all speak with a certain accent. We may not think we do, but we do. Everybody has an accent. So the way that you connect to spirit is very similar. It's a little different, very similar to everyone else, but there's a little something different for you. So some of us may be able to look at cards and get stuff. Some of us can listen. Some of us see. Some of us feel. Some of us know. It's all okay. Work with the skills that you have. Listen to some ways that other people work, but then don't believe that that's the only way. Unfortunately, when it comes to intuition, there is no how-to book, and you're going to have to meditate. I did some last night as well. I just had a long few days here, so I closed my eyes, and almost immediately, because I'd been absent from that, it was like this wash of energy that came through, this beautiful warmth and light, and I was like, oh, why didn't I do this earlier today? And I just meditated maybe for 10 minutes. It was amazing. And it was not so much about receiving information as it was the universe gave me this cosmic recharge. I just felt it. I felt the love. I felt the light. I felt amazing. I felt lighter and brighter. So don't put an expectation as to what the intuition is going to show you, what the universe wants to do for you. Just open up. So I could feel you. The more you start to meditate, the more you can discern different energies. So I just closed my eyes and I said, I'm open to receive a blessing or energy from the highest source. So once I did that, that's what I got. And that's all I got. And that's okay. I wasn't sure if there would be more spirit communication going on or what. It was just love. It was just sort of like a nice warm hug from the universe. That's what meditation can be. I don't think I can sell it any but more than I can right there. It's like getting a hug from God and the universe. So make some time today to get a hug. You don't have to clear the thoughts from your head. You don't have to see past lives. You don't have to connect with the dead. You can just get that little bit of love. So stop putting so much cognitive, practical energy into it. Meditation is whatever it needs to be for you. And it changes every time. No two meditations are alike. Okay? So that's what Spirit wants me to talk about is don't try to structure it so much. Just be there. All right? Hopefully that helped. Let's take a look at what you've selected for me. Change. What do you need to know? I think that's great. This time it kind of showed up as the death card, or not the death card, but the tower, but it can be death, tower, world. We actually got the world too. So looking at the world, looking at the wheel of fortune, looking at the tower, which came through for you. What do you need to know about this? How can this be something amazing for you? Page of Swords. All right. So let me just clear this out so I can see what I'm doing. All right. So looking at what you need to know about the change, what's availing itself to you. With the Page of Swords, I like that we see action. Looks like it's the golden ratio in the background with him as well. So recognizing patterns. That's what I'm going to go with in this particular answer, and then we'll talk more about Page of Swords. So the change that's happening now is the result of patterns in your life. So some of you may recognize cyclical things that have been going on and that there's a need for that to stop or a need for it to go in a different direction. So the big thing that I'm seeing for the collective today is an energetic adjustment, reset, a tweak that's happening because the cycle has completed. I guess the question for you is, are you holding on to a cycle that's already served its purpose? We saw the wheel and we saw the world of, the wheel and the world card. So with the Wheel of Fortune and the world together, that tells me completion, graduation, expansion. And the Tower is saying, if you don't go through all of that, we're going to make it happen anyway. When something's time has come, the universe will find a way to help you to the next level. So in a job, you could be let go, for instance. If you've been holding on to a material item, the dog may eat it up, chew it up or something. And even when it comes to life force on this planet, there comes a point where the soul's ready to graduate. So there's so many different ways that Tower energy can express itself. But usually it's the universe saying, I'm helping you because you're having a hard time integrating. So if you can get ahead of the pattern and if you can see where it's headed, you don't have to go through the Tower at all. Or you can mold it like the potter that we talked about earlier, okay? So recognize and see it and then decide how you want to move through it. Then you're not feeling like the walls are crumbling on you. You're the one taking the bricks down brick by brick, okay? So recognize and end a pattern is what I would say. Also, since we have a page and a page of swords here, speak up, ask questions, be a part of the change. Say, yeah, I think we need to do this. And I have an idea. How about this? That's, again, a way that you can become the potter, not the pot. So that's my advice on that one, okay? When you are going through something like being laid off, like losing an object, like losing a loved one, one thing that I want to give you the encouragement, permission, and support to do is to go through the energy of it, okay? The Tower still feels like the Tower sometimes. And any number of emotions can come through. It can be panic, sadness, fear, frustration, disbelief, by all means. This can't be happening. This isn't real. Out of body sort of energy. Once you get through it, though, you can take a deep breath and you can look at it from the bird's eye view. Okay? So reach out to someone if you're going through the initial Tower, and then know that right before you get to the world card, you go through Judgment, which is that feeling of, oh, this is what it was all about. Now I see. Now I understand. Okay? But going through all of the other sort of energy, the sort of journey of the Fool, we don't get that just yet. I'm just kind of looking here. It's number 14, so all the way to 21. You're like halfway through. You're halfway through a big journey. So don't believe that this is the end. This is just the beginning. The Tower is just the beginning, especially when we're looking at this. It's one of the powerful sevens, and we're looking at the journey of the Fool. So you're nearly there. All right. Interesting stuff, right? Let's see where we're at now. We're going to now go to the special topic today. Again, the special topic you chose, I'm so happy you chose it too, is healing whatever needs to be healed. And one of the things that I talked about today is we don't have to focus on having to understand all the little pieces of this. We're just going to trust that the universe is setting us into that right energy or that right direction. I'm pretty sure that I have the Star Seeker deck here. I have the Light Seers deck. I like both of these. I almost feel like we could just vote on two because I'm really drawn to these two. So I'm going to do that today. It's one of these two that you can choose for me. So give me a second here and I'll give you a chance to vote on these two, because very rarely I'll leave this one out here. I'd be fine to read with any of these. Okay. We're going to have fewer choices today just because I felt very drawn to those in front of me. But as a bonus, if you're watching live, I'll give you a chance to vote. So this was the one that I was using that has all the animals on it. So this is the Wild Unknown. This is a fairly new one. This is the Star Seeker deck. And this one is Light Seers. And again, I'm just going with what I was drawn to today. So give you a chance to see these images a little bit closer. Here, I'll put it this way. So the first one that we're going to look at is this one. So lots of animal totems on option number 1. Option number 2 is a combination of sort of like these flat illustrations with some beautiful colors. I like it just as much. And this was the initial one that I was drawn to, which is Light Seer's deck. Because I even chose a couple of these cards in the channeled messages today. They just felt right to me. So take a moment to look at all of these. Again, welcome everybody. It's good to see you today. And happy holiday if you're celebrating a holiday this weekend. So we're just about to get to the main special topic today. Again, everybody here will receive a message on this one. It is not sign specific. The only piece that is what I just went through when I looked at the elemental forecast. It looks like we have a pretty good winner here with the Light Seer's deck, so thank you. I'll wait for the final numbers to come through, and then we will take a look at what it wants to show us. All right, indeed, we got the Light Seer's deck. And again, that's kind of what I was drawn to, but I wanted to give everybody a chance to vote that was present. All right, so we're going to be looking now at the special topic today. This part is timeless. Again, it can be used for the next week, but anytime you have some healing in your life and you need to go through something, you can watch this portion. That's why sometimes I refer to them as evergreen or timeless, because they're always there. There we've got that strength card, which was a part of the channel messages, so nice synchronicity there. Lots of reversals in this spread, which is interesting, almost exclusively despite the fact that I continue to shuffle it. So whenever we go through healing, a lot of times it's difficult for us to do that, difficult for us to see it from a different perspective. So we'll do our best today to kind of help you accept some of the available changes for you. Actually, let's do this one first. Lots of powerful energy coming through. A couple of rebirthing cards, a couple of power symbols with the snake. Really, really interesting. All right, let's break this down and talk a little bit. Let's take a drink of water too, and we'll get started. All right, again, I'm covering the special topic right now. If you just joined, we're going to be taking a look at how to heal yourself or heal any part of you that needs to be healed, whatever needs to be healed. So we have the Eternal Child card that came through as the catalyst. And again, this is kind of like one of the topics that I keep throwing out there, which is until we sort of heal all of the wounds from the past, all of the inner sort of stuff that we need to work on, it becomes difficult to sort of like allow for new things to come into your life. So the first thing that needs to be healed is the eternal or the inner child. So a myriad of different things that you could be focusing on, but I'll highlight 2 or 3. One is we may be wearing the sort of facade of grown-up energy, but there's still always a part of us that needs to feel loved, that needs to be reassured, that needs love and help. So as an adult, you still are that eternal child. You still are there's a part of you that still has fears and has anxieties and wants help and support. So honor and listen to the inner child. Do whatever you need to. The other piece is what we've gone through in the past imprints and affects us exponentially in the future, like an echo magnified. So if you can heal something that hurt you in the past, it has the same sort of echoing effect of healing your relationships, creating this domino effect for the future that calls in better relationships. So listen to what the inner child is saying, work on that part of yourself, and then you'll see healing and opportunity and love and abundance kind of follow everywhere else. You can't ignore that part of yourself the same way you wouldn't ignore a crying baby. You have to eventually find out what's going on. Are they tired? Do they need to be changed? Are they in pain? Are they sick? You have to listen to that part of you that's crying for attention, okay? And for any of you that may be estranged or separated from a parent, then this is a chance to work on healing and strengthening yourself and deciding if you want to do some work on that relationship. And again, it works even when they're not on the planet, especially when, because now they have to listen to you more. So you can say your side of this. So for those of you that, like me, have parents that are no longer here, you can still do that work. It works with aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, everybody. Just in a quiet space, talk to them. Say what you need to say. Try to make it elevated. And just say, I have some things I need to get off my chest, and talk to them, okay? So clear the energy between you, parents, siblings, and loved ones, and really work on nurturing the inner child. I mean, it seems like it's common sense that would be the catalyst. That affects everything else. So that's priority one. Let's look at the center of the spread. By the way, if you're really happy, you can help others dealing with this. So if there's someone else in your life that's having a difficult time, you can be there for them, supporting them and saying, I've got you. So you can lend support if you have more than enough. So some of you may be fortunate enough to be in that spot. So I just wanted to kind of like clarify. All right, write it down. We've got, or get it out. That's what we were just talking about. So Page of Swords in reverse. We all need to sometimes articulate what's going on. Have you ever noticed that things are not sometimes real? They don't seem real until we say, I feel this, I want this, etc., etc. So if some of you are going through that kind of situation where you wish that you could just kind of like, you need to get it out. When you say it to someone else, it makes it more real. It lets them know that you need support. It also kind of opens up energy in the universe around you. So I'd like your advice. I need to talk. I feel sad. I need help. Whatever it is that you need to do, get it. You can also be positive, like expressing love towards someone, saying, I love you, saying that, you appreciate them. Just get the energy out a little bit. Avoid overly critical energy. As upright, I wouldn't get it, but when reversed, I definitely see sometimes that you could be holding too high of a bar of excellence for yourself. And you might be wondering, like, how am I going to be able to do this? So give yourself a break. Give yourself more credit, okay? It's good to be hardworking. It's good to have high expectations, but realize you're not a robot or a computer, right? So you have your limits. We also have this eternal child energy coming through with the Six of Cups. And everything that I talked about a little bit earlier can be a part of this. This can be cousins, brothers, sisters, best friends. It can also be a karmic relationship. So as an answer to the larger question, what needs to be healed? For many of you, it could be karma between you and someone that you love the most. Have you ever noticed if you get into an argument with someone in your family, a lot of times it hurts the most and it's the most difficult to clear because there's just so much between you and that other person. Because we're in this sort of powerful period right now with all these different holidays converging and the full moon just happening, it's a great time to let go of something. And so karmically, if you just say, it's all right, we're good, or I'm not as upset about that as I used to be. You don't have to say, I forgive you or I'm sorry, but get the foot in the door, because then the momentum of this weekend can kind of propel you into continuing with that healing. Healing takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Remember the Seven of Pentacles when I was showing you that card? You can't be impatient with yourself. this growth that is a part of this card, he has to be more patient. Only with patience can that growth eventually kind of step into place. Okay? It's a really good time to prioritize family and love. So for any of you that have been putting your relationships on the back burner, your friendships on the back burner, this is a time to rekindle and express gratitude and check in with other people. So definitely, if you're open to it, invest in those core relationships in your life. You could also be attracting that. Again, the work that you've done with the first couple of cards, the first card being the Eternal Child, working on your inner child. This one on not being overly critical with yourself or with others. That brings in, like what we saw with the Four of Wands, Six of Cups can be partnership. So you're kind of en route to bringing in that partnership if you're ready. If we look at your deep past here, we have the Six of Swords, and it's, let's pull this card up right. Again, it's one of the three cards, well, there's more than three. It's one of the many cards of death and sort of like transcendence and transmuting energies, moving basically. So I think that for some of you, there's an overdue release or move that is now having to come to sort of like fruition. What does this mean? Maybe you've outstayed your purpose or welcome in a job, in a apartment or house, or in a relationship. And although it's difficult, it's necessary for it to transcend into something different. So space and time is probably needed first in this sort of situation. Get your head in the right direction and think, what's next? Don't focus so much on what you're leaving, but where are you going? Because there's navigation that's a part of the Six of Swords. Otherwise, you're just adrift at sea, okay? So when you know that a change is necessary, the best thing that you can do is think, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? Get those how, why, when questions answered, and then the Six of Swords happens naturally. So back when I decided to quit my job, I knew what I needed financially, and that affected the when. And then the how was pretty easy. I was like, just write a letter and give it to your boss. So it takes away some of the fear when you just think about it practically. Do you have the resources? Have you done the work? What's holding you back? Is it fear? Is it getting permission? Whatever it is, get a battle plan together, and then you'll be able to move in the right direction, okay? One thing that I will say with the Six of Swords is, just like the Tower energy, the change that needs to happen eventually finds a way, and movement happens whether or not you want it to. So if someone is moving out of your life, if something is falling away from you, if something is shifting, it's going to do it whether you're ready for it or not. So acceptance and, again, recalibration or moving into a new direction, I think, is really, really important. Okay? So you're going to be fine. You just need to sort of like figure out what you want and what's next. All right. The Emperor card, also something that we saw coming through when I was looking at, I believe our water signs had this one. So accountability and ownership and power. For many of you, there could have been someone in your life. Usually it's a paternal figure. It doesn't have to be a man, but there's that strong paternal energy. So boss, parent, or friend that tends to want to tell you what to do. And what happens with this is, even when you are strong, which you are, you wouldn't be watching if you weren't, having someone that's such a big personality play such a prominent role in any facet of your life, it can cause an atrophy, a lessening of your own innate ability and skill. And when the energy is gone, all of a sudden you have to stretch those muscles, figuratively speaking again, your intuition, your power, your strength, and you'll find a power you didn't know you had. But someone in your life, ostensibly a parental figure, because we're looking at the inner child, just maybe stepped in one too many times and said, are you sure you can do this? I don't want you to get hurt. Have you thought of all of this? Are you too young? Are you too old? Are you too this? Are you too that? And at a certain point, it starts to get into your head like you're gaslit, and you're thinking, maybe I am. Maybe I shouldn't. Am I able to do this? So no more gaslighting, no more questioning, no more worrying. You're strong. You're capable. All I care about when I do a reading for you is, what do you want? Is this in alignment with your soul? What can you do to be empowered to make that change happen. You are the emperor. You are the strongest one in any equation because it's your life, it's your lesson, it's your karma to live and experience. So don't let somebody else make you think you're less than. Don't lean too heavily on others. And that same critical energy that could come within may actually be resonating from that strong energy that's in the periphery. So you're reclaiming your power. That's the next thing that can be healed. Okay? Keep an open mind. I like that some of you either are stubborn or come from a really strong sort of family or teaching in your history. There's something there that taught you to be very strong or very stubborn or very sort of like, I'm going to dig my heels in and get this done. The King of Wands reverse, though, can be so sort of closed off to opportunities or signs and signals that he misses something. So remembering, of course, I really like Wands as a court card, whether it's the king or the queen especially, because not only are they powerful, but they're a little magical. They have the ability to create things when people don't think that they can. So your latent gift and skill and opportunity is, first of all, the element of surprise and the ability to do the unexpected. So if you believe it's impossible, you'll never be able to see that surprise side. If you focus too much on what could go wrong, you might miss what could go right. So there's a happy little balance and dance between preparing for unexpected or worst case scenarios and then also entertaining the possibility that something wonderful could happen. So my next piece of advice for you is believe that something wonderful can happen and keep an open mind to be surprised by something positive, not just by something negative. All of this is lining you up to feel like you're more than enough. This is my favorite strength card because it's an amalgamation, a combination of divine masculine and feminine. There is no subjugation or control in this card. It's what we're supposed to be with the strength card. It's not binary. It's not sort of controlled. We can be both. And that's the sort of gift on this one is you don't have to give up the things that make you to make other people happy. So our vision of what being a woman or what being a man or not being either, because we're hopefully getting to a point where we're not even just focusing so much on the gendering of those two things, but like just being the strongest person is like yin and yang. You're combining, you're using all of the colors in the palette. So use all the colors in the palette. And maybe that is about what it's like to be a mother or father or a husband or wife or a friend or what it is to be an artist. Paint with all the colors, even the ones that friends and family thought you shouldn't paint with. You know, we can use all of those different energies. So I'm giving you the lens that anything is possible and you can be different. The singular, different, unique approach. I can go through many different synonyms there, but just basically whatever it is that makes you is what makes you powerful. And that's why people want us all to be the same. Because when we are our sort of individual selves, we stand out and they don't seem as important. So that's my key to you is be yourself and show your strength. Knight of Pentacles. Not looking back at the past is what this knight wants to teach us. So he's moving forward. He's left this sort of legacy behind him. The card in reverse is saying, I don't have to go back and repeat this. Something I was talking to Libra about the other day. You don't have to repeat what your mom did, what your dad did, what other family members did. And this is why sometimes like going into the family business or doing what they expect of you, that's not necessarily what your soul needs. You are supposed to walk your own line. It might be a little bit to the right or left of what they expected. It may be in another direction altogether. That's your line to walk. That's your path to take. And you don't have to repeat what they did. You don't have to fulfill vicariously their dreams. And you are not defined by your past. something that I've been saying the past couple of days. So this is a full moon message that just keeps coming through as I'm talking to all the signs that I'm reading for on the full moon. Only if you choose to kind of repeat the past are you doomed to kind of like be in that energy of it. Okay, so don't repeat the past. Take a new path. Do something different. Make sure that everything you do helps, like leaves something better than it was when you started. So there's a legacy, there's an impact, there's a resonance that you feel when you're working on it. Otherwise, my question to you is, why are you doing it? We've all been through I get it. Sometimes you need the money. Sometimes there's a lack of opportunity. Look at the long term. I'm not so concerned about right here or even the next 5 or 6 months. What are you doing for the next 6 to 8 months? When I decided to quit my job, I had to wait 2 years. So I knew 2 years before that I was going to quit. But I had to then start to do different things. I started to study yoga teacher training. I started to really work with cards in a way that I hadn't before, and meditate and all these other things, because I knew that's where my path was. So while I was wrapping up one path, I was creating the energy for the next, so that then I could have like a soft landing rather than a crash into an empty pool, right? So it could take up to 2 years. You can take that long if you want to for a change. All I care is that you're creating a more fruitful path in front of you than maybe there was behind you. Let's look at your environment card. We have Queen of Pentacles. So this is really interesting because, again, in the spread, let's just look at where she's at. This is what's going on in your periphery. So there's someone around you that is more than willing to take and receive, but they're a little bit less capable of giving. This card in reverse is saying it's your turn now to focus on taking care of yourself, very much in alignment with the Eternal Child card that we got, very much in alignment with the Six of Cups. So you might decide now, I'm going to spend more time on myself, with my family, with the ones I love the most. And I'm going to invest a little bit less into these people, places, and things that tend to tap me out like a battery, right? This can also be investing in education because, I was talking about that soft landing. That's some of what I was doing. I was educating myself so that I would be ready for what was going to come next. So I knew it was coming. I just didn't know how at that point. So I thought, well, let's get some training. I need to really be ready to say it before I say I quit, before I know what's next. So interestingly enough, that first shift happened when my father died, actually. So death can have this really positive energy in your life. It helps you clarify what's important and what's not important. So whether it's a child, a parent, a pet, or even a part of our lives like a job or something like that, because these are all different energetic and spiritual deaths. What it does each and every time is it gives you this wake-up call, right? Listen, life is unpredictable. It's finite. Never say life is short. Just say it's finite. It definitely does have an end and a beginning point. The soul is eternal, but this life is finite. So let's make it count. What's on your checklist, your bucket list? What haven't you done? Do you have any regrets of things that you tried and it didn't work out? We have a retrograde period happening next month. It's a good time to go and revisit it. Retrograde can be positive. It's almost exactly a month from now that we'll be in a retrograde. So you have time right now to get things started so that when you enter that retrograde, you're already wrapping up that cycle. Okay? Educate yourself, support yourself, nurture yourself, focus on your core relationships. Make this life count. Whether we live many or one, we can all agree on the fact that this is an important time. Because we're here, because we're alive. So make this life count the most. Healing between you and your parents keeps coming through here with the Eternal Child. So I think this is something, whether our parents are alive or dead, or whether we're 2 or 22 or 102, we still connect with that energy from the past because that's one of the most important and also the first relationships that we have. So focus on healing that. That's an important piece right now. Okay? Let's move on and look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have nice upright cards towards the end here. So it doesn't surprise me. Sometimes people will be like, you're not shuffling the cards enough. Trust me, I'm shuffling the cards enough. Reversals come through because we need to look at things from a different angle. So everything was subtle up until now. Now we have 2 really clear cards and we're going to focus on them a lot. Possibilities. We've got the Ace of Swords, one of my favorite ones here. We have a staircase going into her head. It also looks like sort of like a ram horn to me as well. So for many of you, when you are finally able, ready, and comfortable with sharing your idea, your vision, your perspective, not only will it free and liberate you, that's what the stairwell is representing, but it's also something that other people can get behind. They're like, why haven't we heard this part of you before? Where did this come from? When I stepped more into the intuitive path that I'm working on right now, a lot of people weren't surprised because I'd been open about, I'd always loved things like yoga, and I'd always been spiritually curious and had been open. But one of my friends that knew me like for 22 years or something, she said, you were always plugged in, because I used to work as a designer with this one person, and the fact that I could just kind of like get things really quickly, and she didn't have to articulate things too much. I could just sort of like visually come up with what she wanted, that she got it. So when you kind of express and state your true self, there'll probably be less disbelief and pushback than you think. What you're really doing is, for the first time, giving people a perspective into who you are. And if you authentically sort of like articulate and emanate this, how could they be anything but supportive? Because otherwise they are not showing unconditional love or support. So just really know who you are, really state what you want, and you have a chance to express it. Get some of this stuff moving. This is the possibility. An Ace of Swords, any ace for that matter, is the universe giving you an opportunity. So write it down. Could be a new contract coming through, could be a new job, could be you creating it yourself, because when we take a quick glance at the table, this is a big this is a big and a card of empowerment. So is this, so is this. So 2 divine masculine, 1 divine feminine, 1 divine feminine, saying who cares if it's divine feminine or masculine. So we see strength, and more strength coming through here, and then a lot of support around you. So I believe that you have the ability, if you want to lead, if you want to create something on your own, do it. It's coming through, right? And then we got another ace here, and this is in the outcome. So put your idea out there, and then we get someone who wants to invest in it. So that can be literal or figurative, but this Ace of Pentacles is fantastic. One thing that this artist did a great job, Chris Ann, I believe is her name, she did a great job doing, was showing that you have to feed a dream in order for it to grow. So we see what looks like a bulb or a seed that you would plant, and you have to hold it, you have to nurture it, you have to plant it, you have to take care of it. So we see the expression and the ideation happening here, and then we see that ability to kind of like put it where it needs to be, put it in the right place, okay? So I love what I see here. We're going to expand the forecast now and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny to get some additional insights on how you can heal whatever needs to be healed. But right now, I think we're off to a great start. Looking now at your health card, you're getting an affirmative yes. For some of you, you're not used to hearing yes, which is why the card was reversed. So if you want to do something and everyone else is saying no, this card is saying yes. If you think something needs to change, something might need to be addressed in your life, it's also saying, I know you don't want to deal with it, but yes, you need to focus on this for your own health and your own happiness. So pay attention to what's coming through. Yes, it's important. Yes, it's something you need to deal with. And yes, you can manage it. And it's okay to say no to things too, but the yes is just acknowledging all of those things that matter the most to you, that they really are that important. A reminder, as I look at the other messages in health, we're going to be looking at energy. Whenever you're dealing with something difficult emotionally or physically, you need to work with a professional. But I'm going to look at the things in your mind and your body that can actually, a lot of times spiritually, what we're going through, it can manifest itself. So I'm going to help you with that perspective. So as we look here at what's in front of you, when I'm looking at anything that might come through with the body, one thing that I see here is just taking better care of yourself. When I channeled, I got the 4 of Swords reversed. This card can be just nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, especially when other people don't, because this is a demanding card. So there are people around you that are ready to take as much as you will give. You're going to focus on pushing back a little bit and saying, you know what, I need a day off, or I'm done, or we need some help on this. So managing your resources, that's the most important message here that I could see. Acceptance takes time. So accepting change takes time. Accepting loss takes time. It's a journey. Every day is another step. So push back where you need to for people asking too much, and then give yourself time to adjust to all of the shifts that are happening within. You may want to prioritize your body, working out, stretching, and sort of strengthening the body. Again, you should work with a professional when doing that, but the strength card shows that you might be taking a little bit of a beating because of everything that's going on, so prioritize that. These are the main messages coming through with respect to health. You actually don't have that many. This is more of an emotional reading today than anything, focusing on the emotions that then bring through opportunities in your life. And so your health looks pretty good to me when I'm looking at all of this, at least as I'm looking at new and or presenting issues. The only thing that I do see here for some of you is that stress may manifest itself in the form of headaches or insomnia or stuff that just gets in your head. So I really feel like that's why it's good to have someone to talk to or have a way to kind of like get the energy out, because most of this is coming through either emotionally or cognitively as I look at the cards here. Okay, we did get a lot of kings and queens, so moving is important because the kings and the queens don't move as much as they should when we're looking at court cards. All right, let's move on to the next expanded forecast card. We're going to look at wealth. Wealth is a multitude of things. It can be your current money, it can be your current job, it can be opportunities that avail themselves to you, especially if you're a student or retired. So we've got the cosmic egg, which is basically a big old ace of pentacles to me. So we've got two ace of pentacles, just expressed a lot differently. Eggs need to be what? Both fertilized, and also you need to kind of like warm it and take care of it. And that's what we see the snake doing, protecting that egg. So if there's something that you really care about, put the nurturing energy into it and also protect it. If you're an inventor, an engineer, get a patent. If you're a writer, make sure you've got your copyright in place and your licensing in place. And if you're doing something else in your life, this can also just be protecting your family, because we have the Six of Cups here. So for some of you, the most important thing when it comes to wealth is not so much you want to make a bunch of money for yourself. It's like, I want to be able to take care of myself, my family, and then future generations. So it's legacy. So wealth management is coming through as well. You could also be sitting on a real golden idea. And for those of you that have been wondering, when should I do something about it? Looks like this next 3 months or so would be a good time to put some energy into that. Okay? So actually fantastic energy when we're looking at wealth. And I was really happy with the cards that I saw here as well, because the last two are the most powerful, and they're both upright. So a great idea and a great interest in the idea, an ability for you to speak your mind and then also get some additional resources if you need it, especially if you're working with someone that takes and takes and takes. With the Knight and the Queen, we see some similar energy, but someone that likes to call seniority sometimes. So what I'm looking at here is the ability for you to use the Emperor strength and King of Wands sort of like power that you already had and step forward. Remembering again that just like that story that I was talking about in the Hindu sort of mythology, our powers can sometimes feel like they're taken away, but sometimes we're just letting people step in and be a little bit stronger. So you're going to remember you have more power and strength than you gave yourself credit for, okay? Let's see if there's anything else as we look at this. Don't be afraid. If you're going to revise, if there's any contracts en route right now, please revise them to your liking. You have the capacity to negotiate quite well. You can meet whoever's at that table with the right kind of energy, and it's going to work out okay. There's an overdue move for some of you. You might need to travel for a job. You might need to move to a new country or province or state for the job as well. Demand what you need from this. Make sure that you get enough. Whoever is negotiating with you is fierce at the negotiation, but you have a lot of leadership energy as well. And for those that are retired, what are you doing that kind of like intrigues you, opens your mind? And as a student, whatever you're studying, make sure that this is something that really brings about growth. Because Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, it's your heart, it's your soul, it's your mind. Make sure that you're really feeling it. And if you're not, it's time to change your activities and make sure that something's more in alignment with that. Let's look at relationships and how to heal them. And we'll look at them in different perspectives. First, let's begin with the relationship card. We have the wild horse here, the Palomino. The Palomino was reversed. That just reminds me of a horse that does not want to be trained or controlled. This is nobody's beast of burden. This is nobody's ride on the chariot. This is someone who wants to go their own way. So sometimes there are horses that are wild. Sometimes there are people in your life that are unruly. I guess the question for you is, and we see it here with all the power cards reversed, what is it about this person, for those of you in a relationship or that might have just met someone, why do you want to change them? Or is there someone in your life that's trying to change you? And if you don't want to be changed, what are you going to do about that? I think we should be able to evolve and grow. I think we are all capable of change. I don't think we need to change to get the acceptance or love of someone else. So change should be a decision, a mutual decision, not something that's thrust upon you. So that's the first piece of advice. Now we're going to break it down into 3 different pieces. For those of you that are in a relationship, those of you that might be looking for a relationship, or those that are single and happy, and we're going to look at what to heal to be the best in any of those scenarios. So if you're in a relationship right now, it's a power struggle, because this can be you and them. This can also be kind of like what's going on. And there's really no winner in these two. To me, the Strength card is just as powerful as the Emperor. She actually has a higher number in the Journey of the Fool. So you're nobody's fool. And also, you probably, if this is the person that you're negotiating with, it's just a lot of energy. It's a lot of time. So I think that one thing that I would say is there may be too many cooks in the kitchen. This could be the two of you. This can be a mom or a sister-in-law or a third party, because we have the extended family on this as well. We could also even be having like a kid stepping in here. What I'm seeing is so many different people that you might be feeling lost, or that you might be feeling like you're being ganged up upon, like there's too much energy. So get your space from that group, and then realize, like, if it's everybody against me, what again am I trying to prove to these people that cannot see it from a different perspective? And why am I going to just kind of like a car in the mud, hit the gas? All you do is go deeper in the mud, right? You have to stop and wait for the mud to harden to get out of there. And then probably the best way to get out would be to reverse, right? Because you've already dug yourself in. So I would say that's the metaphor that I'm getting, is you're in the mud and you're spinning your wheels. Things need to clear a little bit, and there's either too many perspectives or they're too evenly matched. So really figure out if it's worth it and how you can get across to that person in a kinder way. One of the things here is neither of you wants to be controlled or told what to do. So I would say writing it down or listening before speaking is going to be key, and then a peace offering of some sort. But I think with this, one of the things that I want to advocate for all of you that are in a relationship is that you should have an equal seat at that table. So if they are not willing to do that, because they're all power cards here, then there's something more that you need to look at. I do think that you can work your way through this, because we have Strength and we have the Ace of Pentacles in the outcome. But you have to look at the sort of cyclical stuff that's been going on. That's why the Tower came through in this upcoming week. There's a chance to walk away or reset things if you need to. Okay, let's take a look at what's coming through for those of you that may be seeking out love. So the only thing that I kind of am looking at to keep it real for you is that it does feel like you're already connected to someone. This could be, again, a boss, a friend, or even a parent. And a lot of your energy is going there. Strength reversed and Queen of Pentacles reversed. These are typically mother energies. Or maternal energy. So there's a lot of energy that could be going out to that, leaving you a little bit depleted. So I think one of the things that I would be doing if I was trying to find a relationship would be to have better boundaries here and say, no, I need some time, or I need some space. And then you can put a little bit back in here. And I definitely see the ability to meet somebody new this month. They're all power cards this month. You are not limited. When I have this many court cards, it's almost impossible to kind of like see which one's which. So what I'm going to tell you is you have a lot of choices, and I'd like you to go back into what we talked about earlier, the 7 of Cups, that sort of deciphering and decision energy. Because when you know what you want, other people can show up in the way that you need them to show up. But until you kind of do that work, it's hard for them to come in. So the cleaning of the house that I saw, that other person was clear and they knew what they wanted and they had space, and they were looking at you with puzzling eyes, wondering like, why is it so hard? Just say what you want. Just make a decision. And I think that's going to be the most important thing that you could do to kind of bring some some clarity, okay? All right, focusing now on, let me see if there's any other messages here. Well, the last thing is this person that could be coming in does appear to have like, it's a very strong energy. I do feel like if you've been looking for someone that's fiery, that's strong, that has a lot of verve and life force, you're going to get that. So just meet them on that same level, because I do think that this could be really exciting, but I also think it could be someone that could kind of step in, and it's that role that came from the past where it was parent or boss or teacher that was kind of like eclipsing you. So I want you to shine brilliantly. I want you to be the sun as well. All right. If you are single and happy, I think it's a good time to be single and happy. I see tons of work with, look at all the financial cards, by the way. Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords, and then the Ace of Pentacles. But what a great time to see growth in school, work, areas of personal enrichment, which could include classes or things that you're working on just to kind of be a better person. This is fantastic. And you could meet some cool people, some great friends along the way, okay? One thing I'd like to touch upon with all relationships, let's look at this as a cohesive card, is the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is karma. So karma plays a big role in what's going on. And you get to resolve karma. Once you resolve the karma, you decide, do I still want to be with this person? Because there's no longer like this universal glue that's sticking us together. Now we get to do what we want to do because we want to do it, because it feels right. So I see you being able to resolve one little last piece of karma between you and someone else. And then that frees the relationship up to be something more than it has been. Okay? So there you go. For one last thing for those that are single and happy, again, a new job could be on the horizon, which is great. All right, we're going to focus on the final card here in this layout, which is Destiny. I have a final card at the end, but the Destiny card is where you're headed. And we have the Snake card in reverse. First of all, I do not fear or put negative energy on the snake imagery when it comes in a totem. It's very powerful. And so with the snake in reverse, the one thing that I would say for many of you is it could be like a Kundalini awakening, a strength and a power that's always been in your heart and your soul, but finally it has a way to express itself. Common thread that we've been talking about today. So don't deny that inner strength. It'll find a way to come out one shape or form. So one way, shape, or form, I should say. So now is your chance to really embrace that. There could also be a hidden opportunity lying in wait, because the snake card in reverse can also be like us walking through a field and coming up upon that snake. It can be a happy surprise. It can be something unexpected. You may also want to watch whose toes you're kind of stepping on, because the snake can be somebody that, again, it's sort of very territorial. So try to steer clear of the territorial people out there. But if there are territories and certain things that you can't, like you're not going to deal with that, just avoid that and focus on what you can control. Okay? One of the reasons that snake could be coming up in the future is they see you as a threat. You're evenly matched. I keep saying that. You're evenly matched. So we got a couple of snakes. This snake is protecting what it cares about the most, which could be an opportunity. And someone else could be seeing you as a threat to them. So basically just assuage those concerns and move in a different direction if you need to. If you have to battle it out with that person, these are two evenly matched energies. Okay. So the very last thing that we're going to look at here before we move on to the next section is the big idea. And then we're going to take a look at a meditation together and a final card. So we're almost done. So big idea is one piece of advice. Is there one message about healing overall that we need to focus on today? So we got the Ten of Pentacles, which is something that I also got in my channeled messages. This is the partnership, folks, that I saw. Let's pull that message from earlier, and then we'll put these two side by side. So I love it when there's some synchronicity on what we look at. So here's your Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles was reversed when I pulled it for you, but I was looking at it upright when I was talking about it. So Ten of Pentacles, the arrival of a new partnership. You got to clean the house. That's why I chose the Ten of Pentacles, because it's house, it's home, it's property. It can be marriage. It can be a partnership, but it requires a clean house. And that's really what this card is saying. Clean your emotional, your physical, your energetic house out so that someone else wants to come in. And likewise, if you meet someone with a cluttered house energetically, keep seeking or keep waiting. Let them know that they need to do that inner work first, okay? So a nice connection from the channeled to the very end here as we look at the big idea. All right, we're of course now going to go into the very last portion here. There's going to be a brief meditation, which is followed by one last card that I'll look at. If you've had a question here that I haven't had a chance to take a look at, then this is your chance to meditate on it, and I'll help you with it. Before we enter into the meditation, again, thanks to everybody that subscribed. A reminder to do so if you haven't. It is free, and it is the single best way to help the channel. Hit the like button as well. You can only do it once per video. For any future reminders, you can follow me on social media. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh on all platforms. Remember that I don't have second accounts. You can go to the About page here on YouTube, and all of my official ones are there. Or it's easy. It is just Nicholas Ashbaugh as spelled here. Twitter is the only one because of character limitations that's different. I will never contact you. I'll never ask for something through direct message or through comments. That's a clear sign that it's an imposter, and you can let me know if that happens. The way you can show support is right here in a live video by clicking Super Chat, or later you can actually use the thanks button, and that works just as well. All right. All of my schedule information is on the website. I did put the video link up for Monday, which will be, I believe, Scorpio. I'll have to take a check on that one, but I think I'm doing Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn next week. So just a heads up that will be the next ones that are on the schedule. All right, so let's get ready for the meditation. I'll let you vote on the card, or not the card, but the instrument here while I'm getting set up. And let me think about what I want to do for the meditation as well. So just a second here while I put out a poll for you. You can either listen to the crystal pyramid or the singing bowl. Either one is fine. I'm in the process of maybe getting another singing bowl. I have a really great chiropractor that sells the whole set. I don't have room in this apartment for all of them, but I might work like with the heart one next. This one is good for, I think it's either the third eye or the crown. I have to take a look, but we'll work on the heart because that's something that we need to, oh yeah, great idea, by the way, from Andre. Maybe we can do something with the snake. So I like that. Good idea. Okay. In fact, I kind of like the idea of emerging from this egg with that sort of divine snake energy, and we'll see if that works. All right. So go ahead and vote on the instrument, and I will just use whichever one you guys choose. In the meantime, let's get set up for the meditation. Please close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, I want you to release anything that you've been holding on to. We lit a few candles at the beginning of this reading. If there's something that you're ready to release, connect with the light of that candle and say, Universe, thank you for the lessons that have been a part of this journey so far and this experience, but I no longer need this particular lesson. I'm ready to receive an upgrade, a blessing, something higher, something more positive. I don't need a lesson anymore. I'm looking for a blessing. So release with love and with gratitude whatever it is that has been in your life that has basically served its purpose. See something that you would like to create in its place. And imagine that if you'd like to see yourself as this sort of cosmic snake, you can see that. You can also be a dragon, you can be a serpent, or you can just be holding the egg if you don't like those sort of images. But for those of you, I like the dragon energy too. For some reason, that's a little bit easier for me than the snake. So you could see yourself as this sort of dragon that is holding in its talons this beautiful egg. This symbolizes your future dream, your future potential. It could also be the inner child healing that we want to see. Now, if you watched Game of Thrones, you remember that one of the ways to help nurture that egg, particularly if it's a dragon, is to breathe on it. Fire will help this. So let's imagine that if you want to work with the energy of the snake, that there is this ability for you to breathe life into this egg. And through that sort of fiery energy that surrounds the egg, we're going to see, you could see a phoenix, you could see a dragon, you could see something coming from that fire. So I want you to, first of all, feel the power in your belly. This is the place, particularly because we got so many parental cards, where a lot of that chakra imbalance can happen. So feel a warmth and a light coming from your stomach. And you can picture like a tiny version of the sun right over top of that. And see that solar energy moving its way through each and every vein, each and every cell in your body, through the lungs, through the heart, through the head, until if you were to look at yourself from afar, whether you're human or dragon, you would just see this beautiful, brilliant, bright, yellowish white energy, taking whatever shape you want. Now I want you to start to breathe and see that light come forth. It doesn't have to be fire per se, just light. Light from the eyes, light from the hands, light from the breath. And this egg in front of you, you're breathing the light into it. And you can even reach your hand in there and kind of like support whatever it is you're trying to bring about, to see happen, to see born, to see kind of like come into this world. And keep breathing and keep pushing that light into this sort of new version of yourself, or this new thing, until you see it open. And as I play here this singing, singing bowl, then we are going to just kind of focus on hatching, on birthing. And know that you are ready, that whatever it is that you're setting up right now for birthing, for creation, is going to be just fine. All you have to do is allow it to happen. So surrender to this light, to this creation. Enjoy the meditation here, and then I'll come right back and read your final question for me. Take a moment now and look at what is in front of you. Imagine now that you can see something ready to take flight. For some of you, this can be a representation of a future you. For some of you, this could be something that you're literally trying to bring forth in this world. Just know that by meditating on it today and sending some light and some love its way, you've given it one more step towards that coming into fruition. Please focus on whatever final question you might have for me. And I just want you to hold that in your mind. Don't type it out. Just let it be there. And let's pull a final card here to see what the answer is to your question. So we have the King of Cups, which is one of my favorite cards when it comes to court cards. What I really love with the way that the artist drew this is that we see the starfish on this, which to me indicates recovery. Oftentimes recovery after we have separated from, lost, or removed something from our life. Why do I say that? Because, of course, the starfish has been in our totems many times in the past, and the starfish has the ability, not all, but most sea stars can regrow a lost limb. Some can even split themselves down the middle and clone themselves that way. So what I'm seeing for many of you is a yes, just like we saw with the health card. And it's a yes, you can do this. Yes, you can come back from this. Yes, there's a chance to recover. So I see a rebounding energy with this. So as a yes, no, it's always a yes, but it's a yes, especially after a period of lost change or shifting, a changing of the tides, if you will. Just like me, he was kind of playing a singing bowl here. So listening to the tides, listening to the change, listening to how things have kind of shifted within, and trusting in that sort of movement is going to be important here. It's a yes card for love and relationships. That was something I saw way back in the channeled messages. The only thing that's holding back new relationships or partnerships from coming through is the inner work, the cleaning of the emotional and spiritual house. But across the board, the King of Cups is a very, very good answer to your question. So yes, you can have what you want. Yes, you can rebound from this. It may not come exactly as you thought it would, because when that sea star rebuilds itself, it may look a little bit different, but whatever's coming through is equal to or greater than what you had before or what you expected. So embrace it, even if it takes a different shape or form. And the other thing that I see here is this sort of just creative and inner energy when we're looking at the King of Cups with his eyes closed. He's seeing it and he's feeling it on an internal level. What comes through externally is just a validation of what he already feels. Okay? Good. I like it. All right. So that, my friends, is this reading in a nutshell. Thank you for everyone who has shown support today, either through liking, subscribing, following on social media, or giving a little bit of love in the form of super chats, super stickers. I'd like to take a moment to say thanks to everyone. First of all, thanks to Dakota. He's doing more work than ever, and I appreciate it. He did a great job moderating, so thank you for allowing me to do what I'm doing here. And thank you to all of the members who have been part of this sort of journey. Whether you're a subscriber, a member, or you've just been a long-time viewer, know that you've helped, and I'm just happy that you've been here for this as well. All right, now for the folks today that have given back a little bit, let's pay attention to that and say thanks. I'm going to start with new members from the past day or so, and then we'll say thank you to those that have given in the way of super stickers or super chat. All right, so today, Melissa Grant, thank you for rejoining after 2 months. Marine Mary, thank you for rejoining as well after 1 month. Wanda Locklear, thank you so much, brand new member. Let's see, D. White Quills, rejoining after a year. Thanks for that year. Crystal Azure, thank you for rejoining after 12 months. And I think everyone else I mentioned, there's one more just to make sure. Alicia Dietrich, after almost 2 years, over 2 years, 27 months. Thank you so much. All right. So now let me just give a little shout out to those of you that gave back in the form of super stickers or super chat today. No matter how big or how small, I'm going to say thank you so much. It allows me to continue to do all the videos that you see here. All right. So beginning with, let's see, Sonette LaRue. Thanks for kicking things off today. I appreciate that. We have, looks like Miss P. I guess. Thank you very much. The Ambra, Bonnie Kuparian, Adapts Training, let's see, Valori, Missy Kavanaugh Carrier, Maura Moss Daly, Tatiana Garcia, Judy Francesca Grano, Jeannie Hart, Kathy Ahern, thank you so much. Thanks for that extra bit as well. I appreciate it. Let's see, PIM Sranch. I can't really say that one. It doesn't look like a word, but thank you. Julissa Garabay, Kim Falks, let's see, Misha Crane, Elizabeth Quigley, Cindy Chen, Linda P, let's see, Mahima Lalit, Kathy Smith, Ms. Moses, Jules in July, Linda Hilliker, Laura Martin, let's see, and thank you very much for that extra bit there, I appreciate it. Rachel or Raquel, Wilson Coda, thank you. Lucy Rodriguez, AB, Alyssa A, and let me see if I missed anyone. I think I caught most. We have Sweet E there, and Holly R, Beverly Kendall, Marlene White, Alyssa A. I think I got everybody. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today, for making this an amazing reading. I hope to see you again this week. Again, I'll be live on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll have those videos on my main page a little bit later today so that you can hit the reminder, and I'll start putting them in the stories as well so you don't miss anything. And thank you also for that shout out from Goddess of the Garden for being a member for 9 months. Appreciate that. All right, everybody, lots of love and light. Take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. I'll bring Apollo up at the end here. He's kind of stretching out, though. I want to honor him. So we'll just give him a belly scratch here. So he's like, Dad, don't pull me up to the camera. Look at this little guy. He says, I don't know. I'm just having a good time, Dad. I enjoy listening to you. Yes, a good boy. Yes, you are. We're going to let Apollo rest. He's super happy. All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.